Well, this works out pretty well, my friends. Let's take 3, 2, 1. Well, this worked out pretty well. I just went downstairs here at the office, and look what came in the mail. This is a Conklin Amber Fine Duragraph pen. It says here, it's a beautiful box, by the way. Conklin, the legendary name for fine writing instruments since 1898. Very nice. Let's see what we got. I admit I already opened it and saw the beautiful pen. I was showing it to one of my co-workers. That is absolutely gorgeous. And I would say out of all the pens that I have, this one, it looks the most like a fountain pen to me. I mean, if you compare it against like my Pilot or my my Moonman Mini or my new Noodler's Flex Nib, it looks and feels like a true fountain pen. It's beautiful. Screw off top. It's Conklin, Toledo, USA. Does not say anything. It has the number 8 on the and I forget what the name is of this piece down here. It has an interesting shape for the pen tip itself. I'm curious how this will write. Looks properly aligned. Let's try capping. Very interesting post. Very, very little amount of the pen to post. I am doing some pretty good pressure there. It does post very strongly. Almost suction fit. I don't like that it doesn't come down much further. It does feel a bit top heavy when it's posted, but I mean honestly with the size of the pen you really don't need to post. Beautiful pen though, beautiful pen. Translucent, so you can see through it basically. I can see the converter on the inside. It did come with 2 refills, but I will be just going ahead and filling this with my favorite ink. So converter, let me try and pull it off here. Screw off converter. I've never seen that before. That would be a first. I do like that though. Okay, so screw off converter. We'll gently tighten that up without trying to break it. Let me take a look at the pen nib itself. The housing comes off quite nicely with a screw off tip. Let me see if I can pull apart the nib itself. So let me go ahead and screw this back into the body of the pen. I'm just curious if I can change the nib on this Conklin, because I was watching another video where I could put an Ultra Flex nib on here that I can get for 20 bucks. So usually with one of these you can rotate it or pull directly out. There we go. So here is the nib, and I forget what this is called. I'm still learning my lingos. But I believe that this says 8 on it, which I don't know if that means it's a size 8. I want to say this is a size 6. And so I can replace this, and that is kind of my thought at this point, is to try out this pen, give it a shot, and then probably invest in a Ultra Flex and put it here in the Conklin. I think that would be pretty cool. Looks nice. I mean, it looks really nice. Let's go ahead and reinsert. Here, looking for the flat bottom here for this. So we'll just go ahead and push this back in. Okay, that's reinserted. So I'm going to go ahead and put some ink in this, and let's fill it up and see how this works. This it looks like a beautiful pen. I love the overall style of it. I feel like it has a beautiful personality, and I love personality in the stuff that I own. So let's go ahead and start by moving the piston all the way down here to the bottom there, and now let's fill it with my carbon ink and see what happens with this pen. I'll dip my pen down in there and let's start filling it up. So a little bit of ink in there. I'll just pour a little bit more in through that hole. Oh dear. We're dripping out of the nib quite heavily, or Might not be dripping out of the nib, it might just be dripping off the nib. I'm going ahead and refilling the ink well a bit more. Let's go ahead now and push out the ink. And then pull in some more. There we go. That's a nice full housing there. Nice thing about this, though, that I do like immediately is because I know that this is screwed in, I can hold this without feeling like it's going to fall off. I do like that. And now we can test it out and see about how it does. This should be fun. Yeah, apparently wasn't recording this last part, so I'll just give you the info that I dug up here, and then I got to run and get back to work. I quickly wrote out a little test. So it's right here, Conklin Duragraph. And then I tried some pressure here, and it is as smooth as my Smoother Pro, in my opinion. I love it. I love it. Now, I do admit it makes me want to buy a second Conklin and then get the Ultra from Fountain Pen, what is it? Fountain Pen Revolution. So get a second one of these pens and then do Fountain Pen Revolution Ultra tip in there. Bet you I'll like that as well. But let's go ahead and do one more test here on here. Flip my page over here. And let's try one more test, just because I know you guys didn't get to see. So let me find a area on the test page. We'll do a new test page. So test page. That's my usual writing style. And then we're going to write down Conklin Duragraph. Alright, now to try and do a little better. So let's see here. Here we go. Love it. I am very curious about how good an Ultra flex nib would be, but this is a beautiful pen. Yeah. Oops. I love that. Beautiful, beautiful writing. A little bit of pen pressure in there, not a ton. I mean, obviously it's not a flex nib per se, but it writes very smoothly. Let me get my Smoother Pro here. So here's a Smoother Pro. So we'll write down Smoother. This already sounds scratchier, quite honestly. And no pressure whatsoever. Wow, that makes this feel obsolete. And it's not nearly as smooth now as this Conklin is. What a difference. And just such a beautiful pen in comparison. Nose is... We're in negative 16-degree weather. It's not working so well today. Conklin is way smoother. With more flex. Cool. So I'm going to have to do some drawings with this pen and see about how I like how it does. Right now, if I do things quickly, it doesn't feel like it lays down as much ink. It's almost like a shader because it's not really laying down that color. So, and this could be something interesting. If I pull from left to right, it's not as bold. If I pull top down, then it's bold. I don't know if you guys can actually see that difference. There's a big difference, so it would feel upside down. It's definitely doing a scratch, as you would expect. And it's getting lesser and lesser because you're pushing the tines together in comparison to how you're supposed to do it, but just food for thought there. Let me try something just stupid here. I like that. I like that a lot. There's some nice line variation in there. The bold versus the not so bold of this definitely seems to... It gives it almost a shading kind of texture. I like that. I'm going to have to mess with this pen a lot more. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. That is the Conklin Duragraph. And now I kind of want a second one so that I can put an ultra nib on there and see about how it does. But that's a nice pen.